Something dawned on me yesterday, like an anvil dropping on my head, like, in the Roadrunner. And the coyote, they always dropped the anvil on his head. He was always okay for the next episode. I couldn't believe this wasn't obvious to me from the beginning. And when I realized it, it just dropped my jaw. You know how, it's been now, we've been talking about it for going on 2 years now. And we have proof now. We know this for a fact. The FBI colluded to let Hillary off on her crimes. Decided they were going to exonerate her before they interviewed the first witness. The guy leading it, Peter Strzok, was talking about how she was going to be president the week that he got the investigation before he'd interviewed anybody. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was a laughable joke. Don't put her under oath. When they interviewed her, don't keep any records of the interview. Give anybody who might testify against her immunity so that they never will testify against her. Take her devices and tell everyone you destroyed them. Turns out they still exist, I think. But don't look in them. Don't make her turn over the BlackBerry. Don't go to her home to get the server. Just whatever it took to obstruct justice on Hillary's behalf, the FBI did, right? Just make sure she didn't get convicted of a crime. All right, well, that's one thing, and we've all been pretty sore about it. It's led to, talk of the dual justice system. But when you look at this FISA warrant, you see something else. This should be the way this is spun. This should be the headline story. You know what you see? The FBI and Hillary Clinton conspiring together, along with the DNC, to break the law in the process of taking down Trump. So letting Hillary off on her law breaking is one thing. They're working together to break the law. What am I talking about? Well, there is a nonprofit group right now that is suing the FEC, the Federal Elections Commission. And that's because in the process of creating the dossier, which was paid for with Hillary's campaign cash, Hillary broke the law. Now, you know what's going on right now with Trump. There is an obsession over the Stormy Daniels payment. Did he use campaign cash? Did that break the law? And then another payment to another woman. That's just come up through his attorney, Cohen, which would be a real stretch. A campaign finance law has never been applied in that way before, but it's a real stretch. But Mueller's looking into it, man. He's digging deep. But what about the dossier? No. What about the dossier? See, to make the dossier, to create it, Hillary's campaign broke 2 campaign finance laws. One of them a felony. The first law says that you have to disclose who you pay money to and specifically what for. She lied on her campaign report, which she signed, by the way. All candidates have to sign them. She lied. She said that she was sending the dossier money to Perkins Coie, a law firm, for legal services. No. It was for a payoff to Christopher Steele and to put the dossier together. That's a misdemeanor. It's a crime. It's not an ethical violation, something she shouldn't have done. It's a crime. Federal law number 2. This one's a felony. You can't pay more. If you pay more than $25,000 to a foreign national campaign funds, it's a felony. She did. So you see why she couldn't report it. So you see why she had to commit the misdemeanor, because she was covering up the felony. So definitely 2 crimes there. The FEC right now is being sued by a nonprofit for not investigating Hillary. They refuse. So think about this for a minute. That means that there is no way the FBI didn't know that she had to break the law to make the dossier. There's no way they didn't know. It's impossible. Why? How do I know that? Because the star witness was, guess who? Christopher Steele, a British foreign national to whom it was illegal to pay money as part of a campaign. It's a felony. He was the main witness in the FISA warrant. So think about this for a minute. Not only did they ignore all of Hillary's crimes, they ignored the crimes she committed to create the dossier. They then used to perjure themselves before the court, which is also a felony, which carries 5 years. Think about that for a minute. I mean, when you do, it's staggering. You literally have the DNC, the FBI, and Hillary's campaign partnering in crime. No, but Terry, maybe the FBI didn't realize she broke. Yes, they did. And let me tell you how I know. Do you remember our former Speaker of the House here in South Carolina? Remember him, Bobby Harrell? I knew Bobby personally. He used to come on my show all the time in Charleston. You know that silly little law that says you have to disclose in detail what you spent the money for? Yeah, the one that the FBI ignored when Hillary's campaign used the money illegally to fund the dossier. That law. Yeah. They used that to destroy Bobby Harrell's life. Who did? FBI. Yeah, remember what he was doing? And he was wrong. He deserved what he got. I'm not defending Bobby Harrell. Although if I were him today, I'd have to get counseling to deal with my rage. Where does he go to get his life back? He wasn't my favorite speaker. I didn't agree with him a lot politically. That's not the point. The point is the dual justice system. And what Bobby Harrell was doing, he was a pilot. He had his own plane. And that was fine. And he was, instead of driving, he would fly to the legislature. That's fine, too. That's legal. And he would use campaign funds to do it. Well, what he got busted for was that same third column. It's the same rule that Hillary violated, her campaign, when she made the dossier. He lied. He would pay himself to fly because he was a pilot. And then he would also pay the cost of the gas, or the fuel, whatever, for the jet. That's perfectly legal if you're going somewhere on legislative business. He was flying people to Florida. They were going to Disney World. He was using money from his, campaign cash for stuff in his house. You can't do that. So they got him on that, and they got him on lying in the third column. Well, Hillary lied in the third column about the felony she committed when she sent millions of dollars Steele's way. Bobby Harrell was convicted of a felony, given a plea deal that said he would go to prison if he didn't cooperate. Part of the plea deal was that he had to resign from office and would not run for office during the term of the plea deal. And because he was now a convicted felon, guess what? He lost his insurance license. He had a very, very profitable insurance company that he had built from scratch himself over 20 years. Gone. Wrecked financially. For violating one of the two laws, that Hillary broke to create the dossier. That was an illegal product of lawbreaking. The FBI ignored the lawbreaking, as did the Federal Election Commission, and used it, and then perjured themselves. We don't know whose name the FBI agent who did it because that's blacked out. National security reasons, of course. That's blacked out. But the signature on the FISA warrant, it says right under the signature, under penalty of perjury. What was the signature vouching for? That they had confirmed every fact in the warrant application. They didn't. They still can't confirm the facts in the dossier. That's stunning. How do you feel as an American watching this? The FBI conspired with Hillary to use a document created through breaking of two campaign finance laws, one of which they destroyed Harrell's life with. The same FBI. So we know they know campaign finance law. We know they know that. We know they're perfectly capable of coming after you if you are not on the right side of politics. It sickens me. And you know what else sickens me? These are crimes. These are transparent crimes. It could not be clearer in the federal statutes. You cannot pay, if you pay over $25,000 to a foreign national, you're not supposed to do it at all. It's a felony. That is a felony. And that foreign national she paid the $25,000 to create the dossier, Christopher Steele, was the centerpiece of their FISA application. They knew she paid the money. Heck, they paid him too. So the FBI not only ignored her crimes, not only ignored them, used the product of those crimes. And what is so stunning, at a minimum, there's perjury here. There should be a criminal investigation called for, not another stupid special prosecutor call on Congress, on the Hill. It's time for charges after this FISA warrant came out. When you've got a private nonprofit suing the FEC to make them investigate Hillary for the campaign finance law violations here that are very clear, and the FBI doesn't investigate her and uses the product, it's stunning. But you know what's even more stunning? Nobody is calling this out. Ethical question. Did the FBI lie to the FISA? Yes, they did. And they treat it like, it's a matter of ethics. It's just kind of dirty. No, it's against the law. They lied in court. They were censured for perjury. Where are the charges? These are crimes. Never mind the fact that any kind of enterprising prosecutor with a little hustle could probably make a really good money laundering case. A third charge against the Hillary campaign. They laundered the money through two organizations to get it to Christopher Steele and lied about it on their campaign finance form in violation of law. And the FBI, they had to know it. They had to know. Where is everybody? You know who ought to know? Trey Gowdy. He's a prosecutor. He knows. He ought to know. Well, what is Trey Gowdy doing today? He is calling for all of Trump's aides to resign in protest over the Putin summit. Oh, this is ridiculous. This is insanity. Let me get this straight, bud. Rod Rosenstein signed a FISA warrant. He is the number 2 at the DOJ, Department of Justice. These are the people who prosecuted Bobby Harrell, for the campaign violation. He signed off on a FISA warrant that he had to know the dossier. That she had broken laws to pay for the dossier. He had to know. They knew who paid for it. We know that. They knew all along that the DNC and Hillary paid for it. That's illegal. And you use the dossier anyway. And Mr. Rosenstein doesn't go after her for her crimes. It turns around and uses it and lies and signs his name to it. And Mr. Gowdy doesn't have the gall to even call for his resignation? Good God. And you want Trump's aides to resign because he wasn't tough enough on Putin? That's not a crime, sir. What Rosenstein did was. And when you were asked last week, should we impeach Rod Rosenstein? Should Congress do it? You said, and I quote, impeach Rod Rosenstein? Why? It's an outrage. And he should know better. He knows these are crimes. I don't know what his problem is.